Hi, in this video we'll be showing you how to complete hands-on 9 inputting data to the MAED EL model. So just similarly to the exercises that showed you how to input data into the MAED model, this one focuses on the MAED EL model. The learning outcomes have been listed over here, and what we're going to do is go through this hands-on in this exercise. So in this case we want to firstly open up MAED EL, which we come over here, we click here, click on MAED EL, and we can see that there's a demo case present. We click it and we open it. As we can see, the information in MAED EL is organized into 4 groups: general info provided by the user, the coefficients provided by the user, calculate, and the results of the model. You can navigate between this information using the menu on the left side of the screen over here, similarly to the MAED model. Here's the data that can be inputted by the user. In the general data, so first we start on general data under the general information tab, and here first we go to the top box with the heading definitions. So over here we can see the definitions where we can give the name of the case study, the years. Similarly to the other model, when putting another year we must put a comma. In this case we're going to stick to 2038, case description, and the save button. Always remember to save everything that you do before moving on, as it will not save automatically. There's the sectors and the clients defined on this. In this example, that there is 4 sectors defined in it. So there's industry, transport, household, and services, and then we select whether there is a coefficient of the base year or whether there isn't. Just to go a bit more in depth, clients are defined for each sector. The green plus to the right allows you to add new clients, and editable list appears on the right of the add button. By default, all sectors must have at least one client represented, so the delete option is not available for the first section. Here it lists the same information, and we can see this over here. So we can add a client over here. If we want to add another one, we're going to call it Bob. We can add it over here, and then we can delete it accordingly, just like that. And we click on save. The next thing that we want to look at is the electricity. So this is under the general info. If we click on electricity supplied on the grid from top of the page, so if we come over here, then there's electricity supplied from the grid. We can see the different sectors and where there is electricity supplied and how much of it has been supplied. This is defined in percentage format. Now, because MAED calculates the hourly electricity demand to be supplied by the grid, isolated or self-production systems are not included in the model. So this has to be directly from the grid. In order to play with this, we need to define how much of the electricity demand must be satisfied by the main grid for each sector. In here, it's entered 100, so that means it's 100%. In the box over here is the annual electricity demand, which again gives the numbers. And this is where we define how much electricity is demanded by each sector, which we can change. So we can change it to 5, for example, if we want to, but we're not going to do that. Next one is electricity demand per client. So if we click on this, here we will define under each of the sectors where there is a client, how much of this is defined. So let's say that, for example, in industry, if we go back over here, we add another thing, we call it bubble. In this case, we save the data, we go back to electricity demand per client. So here we're saying that there is 2 clients for the industry sector. One demands 95% electricity, the other demands 5% electricity. So if we put like this, it's going to add up to 100. But we're not going to save this because this is not necessary, and we're going to delete the bulb because we do not need it. Going back to the exercise, the next thing we can look at is the transmission and distribution losses. So if we come onto electricity, transmission and distribution losses, here we put the general transmission losses. So this is in general of how the main grid that transmits the electricity from power plants to the different distribution networks how much efficiency there is, so how much there is a loss. In this case, it's 5%. And then for distribution losses, we can define sector-specific distribution losses. The next thing we want to look at is calendar, which is under the general information. Here you can see that there is a lot of information that can be selected and unselected. So the first thing to look at is the days box in the upper left. In the top table of this box, you can define the types of days to be modeled. In this demo case, day 1 is pre-filled with working days and day 2 with Sunday and Saturday, Sunday and holidays. So we can see over here that there's the working days, Saturday, Sunday and holidays. You can change this and add more days to it in order to show a much more specific energy demand, electricity demand that is being used by the model. So it could be the case that, for example, your Fridays for some reason are a lot more energy intensive, or there are certain days that there is much more electricity demand. You can do this to define the different types of days. So you can define up to 7 typical days. MAED has 11 typical days predefined, each day of the week separately, grouped working days, weekends, Sundays together with holidays, and any day grouping with 7 weekdays. The option any day can be used where there are no differences in the demand pattern of the days of the week. At the bottom of this box, you can select the first day of the week from the drop-down menu. So if we come over here, we can select which of the days is the first day of the week. It depends on how you want to model your energy demand. The next thing we can look at is seasons, which defines the periods of the different seasons. So there's 4 seasons defined in this, and this is how they're split between the year 2038. You can always add another season if you think that there is one that is unnecessary. You can always delete one as well. Here as shown on the exercise. In the box at the bottom of the page is type of day definition. So you can edit the definitions of the typical days. So if we go back over here, we can say, right, Monday, what day does it fall in? Does it fall in as a working day, Saturday, Sunday holiday, Sunday holiday, or any day? And we can change this. So for example, for some reason, let's say that Tuesday is also a Saturday, Sunday holiday. We can click over here and it defines the day by like that. Next thing we want to look at is modulating coefficients. So for this, we click on coefficients and let's go to industry in this case. Here we can see weekly coefficients, daily coefficients, and hourly coefficients. This is the data that has to be calculated before inputting into the model. So this is where, as stated, you can input the weekly coefficients for each year in the model. You can switch between clients using the drop-down menu in the upper right side of the box. So if we come over here, there's 2 clients, Bobo and Int1. So let's say we want to stick to Bobo. We can define the coefficients over here. We can add 10, we can add 5, and we can add whatever for whatever data we want to add. Daily coefficients is similar to this. We define the daily coefficients over here. Again, can change the client, can change the year if need be. And similarly, the hourly coefficients have the exact same logic as well. So hourly coefficients, this is defined by the seasons, the different types, and again, this can be switched. This is where you input the data calculated from the previous hands-on. So once all the input data have been defined in the MAEDL, it can calculate the hourly electricity demand. To do this, we click on calculate, similar to the MAED model, and then it does a calculation of a sort, and we get the results over here. Yep, so the way it works is that once you click calculate, it automatically takes you to the results type. So on the summary, you get the main information. So year 2038, maximum load is this much, depending on different seasons as well. The energy intensity, load factor, number of hours, and so on and so forth. Charts give you a different view. So this gives you the load curve view depending on the different hours of the year and how it looks like. And then the hourly data gives you other information in terms of megawatts, so how much there is going to be of electricity use per different megawatts in the different sectors. Here, if we click on this, we'll get the data for the hourly load as well, and we can see the different numbers over here. And this is how you input data and navigate around the MAED model. I hope that this was helpful to you. Thank you for watching.